Good morning, Krishna sir.
Good morning, Manoj Kumar Gopalia. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. So the people are coming in one by one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are coming in. And sir, actually, I have made you the co-host, so you can share the screen as well now. So I will take a small 2-3 minutes of yours, then I will share your bio with all the participants, and then we will share the dice with you.
Is there any chance you can have breakout session?
Before session, sir, actually the numbers are not coming in. It's only 23.
Yeah, okay. That's, I mean, it's if we can break out into groups of 5 and they can discuss some things. I don't know.
Yeah. I see. Actually, let me check whether we have that provision.
I mean, I don't have the I don't see it on my screen, but you might have it as a host. You might normally when I'm the host, I'm able to break out into. And if that's not possible, that's fine. But I thought it'd be fun to have them break out into small groups.
Okay, sir.
If you look at the dotted line, and there's some dots that come when you're the host, the bottom, and one of those things gives you a breakout option. One of those dots.
Okay. Breaking in rooms. Okay,
yeah, breakout in rooms. Yeah. I'm just saying if you're able to, have you done that before?
No, sir. No.
Oh,
actually, I have not.
Then
I participated in such event where I was in the room, but I was not the host by that time. So maybe in the settings, I may have to do certain changes, most probably.
No, if you make me the host, I can do it, but that may not be that easy.
Okay, no issue. I will do that, sir. I will
make him the host. Make him the host. I'll make you back the host again if that doesn't work. Okay, make me the host.
Yeah,
and I'll make you the co-host. You're Manoj Kumar, right? I'll make you the co-host.
Yes.
I'll make you the co-host so that I'm not taking over the whole thing. So I'm going to make you the co-host.
Yes, sir.
And now I'm trying to think if I can. I'm still not seeing the breakout rooms for some reason. Where did you see the breakout when you did that earlier?
No, so actually I was the participant at that time. The host did that.
But I don't see the
actually maybe sir, you just give me time. I may have to do some certain change in the
no, don't
Google
worry.
account.
No, don't worry about it. It's not. We are just about to start soon. So anyway, I'll just have them chat in the chat box. Do that. Because this is a small enough group. I'll have them chat. So what I will do now is I'll make you back the host so that I'm not taking away your privilege here. I'll make you the host and then get back to normal. Okay, I just wanted to check.
Sir. Yeah. And I will make you the co-host again so that you can
keep on just sharing. Make me the co-host and I can share. Yeah, good. Okay. So this is a smaller group, is it? Most
no, sir. It will swell up to 100.
Oh, okay.
Because they had a session up to 11:30, so they are taking a break.
Sure, I understand.
Most probably in the next 5-10 minutes they will join in.
Sure, no problem.
We will not wait for them. We'll start.
Even if it's a smaller group, that's no big problem. We can have a nice discussion. We can have a nice conversation. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that. The size, the interested people are here, and that's important.
Exactly.
So, Manoj, do you know me from before, or this is the first time?
Actually, I been to one of your sessions, sir, in Bangalore, September.
Oh, okay.
So
Bangalore,
I've been to that session. I love that particular thing.
2015. That was 5-6 years ago. No,
sir. It's online session last September only.
Oh, last September. Oh, okay.
And that is, I think the institution name is MSRIT.
Okay. Yeah. There was one Atal
Fdp. I've been there, and after being into your session, I said, why don't we call? And our vice chancellor knows you quite well.
Right. Yes, Satyanarayana, Dr. Satyanarayana. Correct. Yeah. Yes. So how long have you been with C.V. Raman?
So I'm here for last 3 years, sir. June 2019.
There used to be, I think, Rachika Mishra or someone who was active with IUCEE about 5 years ago, and after that,
5 years ago. Then it
might have left. She might have left. So I think her name is Rachika Mishra, I think, and there was another Pandya or somebody also who was involved.
So do you know? I think Premvrat, sir, Professor Premvrat.
Yeah, Premvrat. I know a little bit, not too much, but how is he?
Because he will be taking one session tomorrow, sir.
Is that true? Okay, right. Yeah.
So he has also been coming because when I was working in NCR Gurugram, in that NCU Gurugram, he is there. He is the pro chancellor there.
Sure. Yeah, I met him a few times, but I don't know him that well. But just come across them. Yeah.
So, sir, if you allow, shall we start? The numbers are 39
yes, I'm
now.
ready. I'm ready. Anytime you are. That's my.
Thank you.
I'm not worried. Yeah.
So a very good afternoon to all of you. It's a day 4, session 2. Our expert is here. Let me share my screen with all of you, and I will be sharing a very brief bio of sir with all of you before I hand over the dice to him. So it's an expert talk by Professor Krishna VEDULA, founder and executive director, INDO Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education, IUCEE. On the theme of this session will be leadership growth plan for cultivating circular economy. So a brief bio, Dr. Krishna VEDULA is now based in India after 40 years as an engineering educator in US. He now devotes full time in IUCEE, a Section 8 company with headquarters in Hyderabad. The objective of IUCEE is to improve quality and global relevance of engineering education in India with the assistance of a global industry network and the academic expert. For past 12 years, IUCEE has catalyzed significant transformation in engineering education in more than 100 institutions across India. From his educational qualification point of view, he is a BTech from IIT Mumbai, 1967. It was IIT Bombay by that time, 1967. He is MS from Drexel University, 1969. PhD from Michigan Tech University, 1980. Degree in material engineering. He has 40 years of academic teaching and research experience in material science and engineering, as well as in engineering administration. At Case Western Reserve University, Iowa State University, University of Massachusetts level in the US. So you will find all this US experience coming in, and a lot of a wider perspective will come in the next 2 hours of interaction with him. He has spent 1 year each at US National Science Foundation and US Office of Naval Research and 3 summers at NASA Levis Research Center. I've been to one of his session. It will be quite interactive, and you have to be totally on your toes with that. Dr. VEDULA was President International Federation for Engineering Education, Society 2010-12. He received numerous awards in recognition of his global leadership in engineering education, including Nikola Tesla Chain Award at the 40th Conference on Engineering Pedagogy by International Society for Engineering Pedagogy, Thailand 2019. He was awarded the title of International Engineering Educator Honoris Causa at 2014 Dubai World Engineering Education Forum. He received the 2014 IFE as President Award as Global Visionary Dubai UAE 2009 and the Global Engineering and Engineering Technology Educator Award from ASEE International Division of American Society of Engineering Education in 2009. Dr. VEDULA is the Chief Editor General of Chief Editor in the Journal of Engineering Education Transformation, published in India since 2014, and has been co-chairing. He has already co-chaired a lot of international conferences on transformation in engineering education. So that's all from my side, sir. And this I will.
That's enough.
Hand over this virtual dice to. And
that's fine.
Sir, thank you for accepting our request for that.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. I'm assuming now that you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. We can see it, sir.
Okay, so I'll put it in full screen mode. And I'll be doing a lot of reflection while we do this. And I'm hoping that some of you, at least out of the participants, will be a little active and send in chat messages. And I will read them when they come in. So, I mean, my first question would be, how many of you have heard of IUCEE? That'd be a good place to start, maybe. Any of you have heard of the INDO Universal Collaboration for Engineering Education? Well, my emails go out to a large number of people. So I'm just curious if this audience has come across the INDO Universal Collaboration in Education. So please text in your chat box, yes or no. You can say no also if you never heard of it. So I just want to get you warm up a little bit with the action. See what. No, okay. Smita, no, okay. Shahid, no, okay. Okay, so it looks like this group has not really heard of IUCE. That's fine. So that's why you will learn a little bit more about IUCE today, in addition to some other things. So thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Sanjita. Good to hear from all of you. Great. So let's keep those that interactive mode. Okay, just because when this topic was given, I was given the topic by Dr. Satyanarayana, right? And yes. Somebody, some wise people might have got together in a committee and decided that this is one of the topics that should be part of this Atal Fdp. So I scratched my head a little bit. I said, okay, what is circular economy? What does it mean? Okay. And because if you have to cultivate it, I should know what it is, right? And should I be able to talk about it? And so that was actually interesting because I learned a lot about the circular economy since I was offered this opportunity to talk. So which is good, which I think we can learn together. I will reflect on what I learned. In a sense, it coincided with some of my thinking about some things that are important for engineering educators. So that was good. It reinforced my own belief that the direction that I was thinking is the right direction, because circular economy is important. Then, of course, the leadership growth. I know a little bit about leadership because I've been in various leadership positions, but still a lot to learn. Okay, so I will, the initial part of my presentation, we'll reflect together on what is the meaning of circular economy, and then we will reflect a little bit about leadership. Some of you might be faculty, some of you might be HODs, you might even have some students in the group, I'm not sure. Some of you might be principals, vice chancellors. And leadership is not just something for administrators or principals or vice chancellors. Leadership is a quality that all of us should have. Faculty should have leadership qualities, students should have leadership qualities, and the average citizen should have leadership qualities, because that is how change happens. If you want to change something, the direction of something good, you have to have leadership emerging from each one of us to move in that direction, to move a larger number of people in that direction. So we want to move people in the direction of a circular economy, right? That's what we're trying to do today, talk today. So unless I know where I want to move them, it's difficult to move them, right? I need to know what is the circular economy and where is it that I'm trying to move them to. And I think each of you should reflect on it and see how if you really believe in some of the things that we're just going to discuss today, I would urge you all to follow it up and take on a leadership role. Whether you are a junior faculty or a senior faculty or a new faculty member or a HOD, put on the leadership hat of yours. And I'm convinced that you all have the ability to be outstanding leaders, and I'm sure you have demonstrated that in many ways. So let's all work together to that common cause. And and then in the third part of the talk, I'll spend a little time on what IUCEE is doing in this direction. Some of it what you're doing, and then we will talk a little bit about how you can participate in maybe what IUCEE is doing as part of this this type of activity. Okay, so that will by that time we'll all be exhausted and we can go home. Okay, I hope to prevent that too much boredom by stopping occasionally and asking you to use your fingers, text a little bit. That kind of relieve your boredom also. Oh, I have a breakout option now. I don't know. I see the 3 dots. Huh. Interesting. I can. Let's see. Record on the computer. No, I don't. I can't break out in this particular dots. Okay. I guess not. Okay, that's fine. So okay. Let me launch what is the circular economy, right? And this was a question that came to me soon after Dr. Satyanarayana said, "Hey, this is your topic." Okay. the beauty of the world nowadays is that all of us can become kind of experts in any particular field because Google Mama is there, right? Google Mama can help us learn about something new, and if you're really interested, enthusiastic, we can learn quite a lot and think about those things. So actually, we have now reached an era where we don't really, even as teachers, we don't really need to teach students content because Google is there, courses are there online, everything content is always on, books are online. So what do we need teachers for? Not to just repeat what is in the book or repeat what's in Google, but to actually encourage the students to reflect and discuss what is being presented. Okay, so that makes it more interactive, and that's why this one-way delivery is not a good thing, because it's no longer the expert, the teacher, giving information to the students. It is the facilitator, the teacher, who's sharing information and collaborating and discussing things with the students. And that should be what you as faculty members, I'm sure some of you are doing that already, and others are hopefully trying to go in that direction. Because the content is out there, knowledge is out there. You don't have to give students knowledge; they can find it for themselves. Same way, today, if you start Googling circular economy, you will find the same thing that I found. Okay, so this is one of the images that I thought is a good image to have, right? So circular economy. There are three segments to a circular economy. One is called production and purchasing. So that means we all are engineers, so we design better products for people to use. These might be electronic products, computer-related products, software products. It might be hardware products. It might be manufacturing products. It might be consumer products, whatever. So we design and build, manufacture, okay, products for people to use. People have needs, and we design and build them, right? And then we have processes, production process. The second important part is consumption and use. So those products get used. And then the third part of it is collection and processing. Okay. So that's why it is called circular, because you go round and round and round. Okay. So you design products in a way to reduce waste. And so far, in most of our engineering curriculum, in most engineering college, we don't really spend a lot of time in thinking about that part of it, to reduce the waste. We just produce things for people to use. But then, and so pretty much we are all stuck in terms of our education, in terms of our roles in colleges, with this production part, not in the consumption and use. And consumption is there, but reusing, collection, and processing, and then bringing it back in a recycled manner back to production. Okay, and develop markets for the recycled materials. So you build something, and you design it in such a way that it can be reused or recycled. Okay, reused or recycled, and that's the key in my mind to circular economy. So when you start building, designing, manufacturing, you have to keep that end in mind, where you have to see, can this be reused when somebody has finished using it? Can it be recycled? Can it be manufactured or retrieved or improved or something? And rather than collected as waste somewhere for no particular purpose, right? So that continuous circular economy. That's why it is. So you consume it, but then after that you collect, at the end of that, and process it. You might need some additional infrastructure to process it, and then you develop markets of recycled material. So that's sustainable. I mean, sustainability becomes an important part of circular economy. Okay. Now, let me pose a question to all of you. Okay. All of you teach courses. Do you, in your courses, and just brief chat message is all I need. Okay. Which of you take into account this rest of the cycle, not just designing and manufacturing, but designing with reducing process waste in mind, and then after that reuse and recycle, all that in mind, Do you include that in your curriculum when you teach students? Can you text some people? Say yes. You say no. If you want to be brand, say no. I don't really do it. I do a little bit, and this is the course that I teach, and so I'll wait for a bit for you to think about it. Okay, because this is what a circular economy is. Okay, I know most of us. I have not spent too much time in my courses with the with the recycle, reuse part of this cycle. It's a circular, right? Circular economy means you have to go in the circle. So so let's have some let's have some people collaborating. Okay. So is somebody okay? I'm in facilities management. Khalid says, okay. Then Abhishek says no. You've never thought about it. Okay. Anybody else? Have you? You can just say no. I've not thought about it, or maybe I have thought about it a little bit, but never really implemented it anyway. But this is completely new thinking. I mean, when I came across this, I said, wow, how many in my 40 years of teaching, I've not really seriously included this component of recycle and reuse. And I am materials engineering, right? I should have been including that in my curriculum. So I haven't done that. I'm guilty of not taking that into account either. So we should all maybe think about it for the future. Okay, so let's hear some more. Let's just some conversation. How would you think it is something that you might be able to include in any of your course in the future? Maybe after this discussion, you might say, "Wow, this is important." You think in your course you might be able to include some discussion about reuse and recycle? Yeah. Okay, I see. So okay, I came to know, Shahid says, I came to know circular economy when I got to understand extended producer responsibility. Good. EPR for course and strategy. Fantastic. So good. So you came across circular economy. Other people, have you come across this concept of circular economy at all? Or is this the first time you're saying, wow, I don't know what this is? Circular economy, tell me more, right? Have you come across what is called circular economy? And if you have not, you can tell me that. If you have, I think Shahid says, yes, he did. First time, okay, Neeta Maitri says first time, but guilty of not being able to consider it seriously. So you might have heard about it from somewhere, somehow, but really brushed it away and so, oh, that's not important, right? So that you're being blunt, frank, Smita, that's how it is. Abhishek says, I believe in reuse and recycle and practice in my personal life, but can't implement my module strongly. You're right. So we all have thought about this in a personal life, right? Because we know that waste from your home, you want to recycle it, plastic you want to recycle, you want to minimize waste. And so in that context, we have come across the circular economy because we do it on a personal level to some extent, at least, if not more. Some people do more, some people less. In that context, we have come across it, circular economy. But we have not really consciously, maybe we've tried to teach our children that they should recycle and not recycle paper or recycle plastic, or if there's a computer that is dying, give it to somebody who can refurbish it and use it again. Or if a cycle is broken, then maybe give it to somebody who can fix it up and use it for somebody else. All of those things in our personal life, we might have done that, and I'm pretty sure all of you have done to some extent that kind of thinking of recycling, reuse, and participated in the circular economy in some way. I'm absolutely sure you all done it to some extent. But here we're talking about going to the next level of actually trying to teach circular economy type of concepts in specific courses as engineering educators. Okay, as individuals, we participated in the circular economy, I'm sure, but teaching in a course so that the future generations of engineers use that as an important part of the design and manufacture criteria. That's really what I think we need to promise ourselves at the end of these 2 hours. Say, yeah, I'm going to look more seriously into that kind of thing. Okay, so thank you all for sharing your thoughts. I really appreciate that, and we'll continue to do this kind of thing. Every few minutes, I'll let you talk a little bit, okay, and we'll share. So be active. Okay, I just want to go to the power plant, right? Let's say we get energy is a big. We consume energy all the time, right? Electricity is a big. Where does it come from? For the most part, this is not the only way that you get electricity, but for the most part, you burn coal, which is a fossil fuel, and then the heat from that will heat up the water, become steam, and then the steam turbine converts that motion from the steam kinetic energy to electricity. And then by burning coal, I produce carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide goes into the environment. And that, people believe, and I think there's enough evidence to show that that it leads to global warming. Okay, and so here's an example of that we are not really looking at it from a circular point of view. It's one dimensional, right? One direction. I'm taking fossil fuel, carbon, and burning it, and not doing much about the carbon dioxide that's coming out at the other end, right? So it's not circular. I need to find some way. Okay, let me minimize the carbon dioxide. Let me find some way to use it somehow or reduce it, whatever. So we need to think about the circular, for any particular technology, we need to think about the circular part of it. How do we go back and to the original resource? And of course, you cannot get coal again because it's a non-renewable resource, and that's why people talk about using less coal so that we can maybe using solar energy or something for power. But still, coal is an important part of the economy, at least for the next 100 years. It's going to continue to be important. Okay, so a typical power plant, now looking at a picture here, you see that you have the coal coming in, there's a boiler, and this smoke coming out, carbon dioxide coming out here, polluting the environment, and then the steam coming out of the boiler goes into the turbine and the generator, which uses physics to move the the steam moves the rotor, and then you get to electromagnetism, you generate electricity, it goes to transmission lines, and then that goes to your homes and other uses, right? And then here we have the water that's coming out. You got to find a way to reuse it, and so people use it. They brings down here, condenses it back. The steam gets condensed back to water, and it gets cooled down, and then that then may go to a reservoir, a pumping station, may go to the river nearby or whatever, or it might come back to getting used in this unit itself. So the water in this case seems to be kind of finding its way to reuse, but the coal is it's a one-way process, and we're producing carbon dioxide. So that's the problem, right? Fascinating. This is just a simple example. Another example is a car, right? You have we drive so many cars everywhere, and so we have so many different parts made of so many different materials. And when we design and build a car, do we take into account what we will do with these old cars once we're done with them? Because I see, wander around anywhere in the world you wander around, you'll see along the streets all these car wrecks, which has been used and discarded by people because they've all run out of their life. And inside of the road, you'll find lots and lots of old cars. And some creative people will go in there and reuse some parts, refurbish some of them and use them. So there's really some good people out there that are actually finding a way to put this back in the circular economy. Okay, so from an engineering point of view, from our point of view, if I'm designing a car, then I need to think right from the beginning, this particular part of the car, what is the most likely way that it will get put back into the resource, into use by recycling or reuse. Okay, that and again, we don't really spend much time having our students think about these issues when we teach them how to design certain parts of the car or certain aspects of the car. So that's the point here in this whole session, is that we need to think about how to include concepts of circular design, circular economy. When you teach a course, you're teaching a course automobile engineering, or if so on, then you have to say, okay, besides talking about the engine and the body parts and everything, you should also think about a significant part of the course must be devoted to these concepts of recycling and reuse, and being part of the circular economy. Okay, so this internal combustion engine, this is the engine that the car uses. It's again, here it's gasoline, a non-renewable resource. It's a gasoline coming out of the pumped from the earth. Petroleum, crude oil comes out of the earth, fossil fuel. And so the engine is, once again, just like the power plant is producing carbon dioxide, this engine is producing carbon dioxide. And so that again is going to give you global warming, right? The exhaust comes out. And so places like Delhi, particularly where there are lots of traffic, and then you have huge problems and health problems of the people everywhere, even in Hyderabad, where I live. And everywhere, wherever we live, we have this issue. Okay, internal combustion engine was, and so the if you look at the 4-stroke combustion engine, and in your courses you're teaching these things, and so people should be aware that that gasoline goes in, air goes in, spark plug. Okay, so the compression stroke and fires, and then carbon burns, and carbon dioxide comes out, and so now what do you do with it, right? It just gets pumped out from the exhaust into the world, okay, into the air, and that's where the carbon dioxide accumulating. Okay, and then another important need that we have, we've talked about first energy, we all need, use it a lot. Then transportation, we use cars a lot, okay, and lots of cars around. And this is the third important need of ours, communication, right? So communication, the technologies we use are mobile phones, every one of us, computers, we are using them right now. Right, and so in the design of these mobile phones and computers, you've got electronic materials, they convert analog inputs, digital inputs back and forth, and this all kinds of stuff. Okay, and again, when we teach our students about circuits, I teach our students about software, we teach our students about designing, building electronic stuff or software stuff. Do we ever talk about what happens after it gets used? That's really what the circular economy is about. What happens after the primary use of this to this particular object that I designed? Is there a secondary use for it that maybe somebody else can use, or is there a tertiary use, or is there some way to take it back to the original manufacturer who can fix it up and resell it, or is there some way to take the parts apart and then use it for things? Okay, look, this is all the stuff that comes out, and imagine there's lakhs of mobile phones all over the world, millions, crores maybe. What's happening to all this stuff? Okay, the material, the plastic came from crude oil that's in the thing, and then there is the electronic stuff came from silicon, which has been converted from silica, processed from the ore, and so all of these have been processed from a material from the earth, right? And then we just throw these away, right? We just put in garbage, or we give it some. So again, there are some good people out there who take these things and figure out how to maybe fix them for reuse, or take out some of the metal parts of it and melt them and use the metals for other useful things, and the plastic portions, take them and maybe find some use to reuse the yeah. Okay, just a process check here. Everybody able to hear me? Let me just
yes sir, loud and clear.
No problem. Okay. So so at this stage, again, I'm going to take a little brief reflection pause and say, what do you think about what I've just said? I mean, all of you are involved with with energy or computers or laptop, teaching these kinds of things, automotive engineering. Have you ever had this kind of discussion with your students and your colleagues? If not, do you think you could start the discussion? Is there any particular course that you teach that touches on some of these things that I showed you? In that course, do you think, can you mention the name of the course and say, okay, in this course that I'm teaching, maybe I can start introducing this discussion? Anybody? Just speculate, just start thinking, because now, I'm saying you have to become leaders, right? Leaders means you have to be the first ones to move towards change. That's what a leader does. So be leaders. Tell me, raise your hand and say, okay, I teach this course, and I probably, just tell me what the course is that you teach, and say, maybe in this course, I might be able to introduce some of these concepts to the students. Okay, let's have a few of you talk about it, about how to do that in your field. Some courses more difficult than other courses, but think, set your mind a little bit, be leaders. I mean, you're saying yes, some people are saying yes, but I'd like to see what that yes means. Okay, think about it, because this is not easy to come up with an answer to this question. You dig deep into your what course you teach, and so I just got some tea here, so I'm going to sip the tea for a minute or two, and hope that one of you says, a few of you say, hey, I teach this course, and in this course, I think I can introduce maybe one lecture or 2 lectures on how to deal with circular economy. Okay, I teach strategic management. This is, again, I guess we have one very active person. We have made it a part of the curriculum, especially when case study on e-waste was discussed. Okay, wonderful. So you already are doing some case study on e-waste, and that's strategic management. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Shahid. Let's hear others. I mean, I don't necessarily want you to say I'm doing it. I want to say, now that I have a little bit better understanding of what is circular economy, maybe I can do it. We want to be leaders and start doing new things based on what we're learning. Okay, can I do something new in one of my courses? Or can I suggest this as part of the curriculum in one of the courses that the department offers or the college offers? Maybe you're on a curriculum committee somewhere in one of your departments, or maybe you just start a small club where you talk about circular economy of some of the products. Right? Let's hear somebody other than Shahid here. Okay. I teach English. Okay, Shabana. So let's brainstorm a little bit. In your English course, right? What can you do to introduce circular economy? Is something that you can do in English course? Shabana, let's brainstorm. Do you teach them? Yeah, go ahead, Shabana. If you want to talk, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
I was waiting to listen to your question.
No, the question is, can you introduce circular economy concepts, okay, into any course that you teach, okay? So, so in strategic management, Anuradha says, again, I'm a strategic management person, teach social and environmental concerns. In your English course, Shabana, I will give you a suggestion, okay?
Yes,
you must be teaching students how to write essays, right?
Yes, sir.
Essays. So this is a great opportunity, right?
Yes,
have them write an essay on circular economy.
Yes, sir.
A short essay on the on maybe circular economy as related to energy, or some of the things that as related to electronic waste. Okay, is that my voice giving a problem? Is that breaking up or something?
No, sir. I will check. I will just check it for you.
I think it's fine, right?
Yeah, it's fine from your side.
Okay. So think about it. I mean, you can in English you can do it, right? I'm a soft skills trainer. I think we have discussion.
Yes, definitely.
So in soft skill trainer also you can have a soft skills means you have to talk, right? Work on teams, and so when you are trying to have students communicate and work in teams, you need a topic. So use this as a topic for students to give a little bit 3-minute speeches on, right? Or have a team discussion. Or soft skills also includes writing. So have them write about the circular economy. This way, paragraph writing, exactly, Shivana, right? So introduce these kinds of things rather than just some boring stuff. You introduce some exciting thing like this, so they can go to Google, do some research, and then do their own writing, and that way they will feel motivated to think deeply about some of the things that they're writing about. Okay, and so Bhavana says circular economy and nutrition. Yeah, okay. Nutrition, malnutrition, hunger, poverty. Okay, so how do we, the food that we're producing, how do we make it more nutritious? And then once the nutritious food is, there's a lot of waste in the market where you have fruits and vegetables. There's a lot of waste involved there. And again, you can think about those issues, and then about hunger and poverty. So yeah, great. So be creative. Okay, so this great. Thank you so much for participating in the discussion. Okay, so let me move on to the next slide here. So look, this is what the world we're living in, right? I mean, what happens is many of us live in areas where we don't see this. Okay, because we have I built ivory towers among us. We live in colonies and gated communities. Some of us, we don't want to see the real world because so we build gated communities, right? We put gates and boundary walls around us, so we don't need to see that we're not in a circular economy. That's a one-way economy where all the junk is collecting somewhere. And I was reading a really wonderful book by Soumya Roy in Bomb, Mumbai. They have a mountain of garbage and mountains of garbage, just like this one. And what happens is that there are low-income people, very poor people, for whom this is a gold mine. Okay, they go in here and they will risk getting diseases and being cut by sharp objects and so on, and insects and so on, because this is a gold mine for them. They will go in there and collect little pieces of metal, little pieces of of plastic, little piece of cloth, and then put all those things in a bag and then go to somewhere, and somebody then takes it from them and does something. So they pay them a couple of rupees, and but that's all. That's unfortunate that we have to just have a small few poor people taking some of these things and putting that back into circular economy. We should have a systematic way of recycling all of these things in a large way, by reducing the waste in our home itself, so it doesn't end up in the dump site like this. Okay, so there's this whole area is just something very, very important for the next generation, because they will see the negative effects of all this of not being part of a circular economy, because all this stuff will come back to haunt them, right? So, so again, water we need for survival. Okay, industrial processes, rivers, lakes are getting polluted by chemicals. When we design a chemical engineering plant or a paper mill or a textile mill, do we think about what we do with the waste chemicals? So the industry says, no, I just will put it in this pond or the river here. And you see many examples of well-educated people, owners of these companies, will let their polluting chemicals go out into the nearby lake or river. People build huge buildings, multi-skyscrapers I'm seeing in Hyderabad, and what they do is they take the dirty water and put it into a local river or lake and polluting it. Okay, so they have to think about how to take their water from all the apartments and how to recycle it, manage it, how to take their waste. And so all of these are issues that are part of the circular economy. Okay, so food and water, so so we need to worry about all of that stuff. Look at that. This is what happens, right? When you don't think about the circular economy, this is what happens to the good lakes and rivers and stuff that are around. And it's tragic. It's sad when you think about it. But so we really all have to think seriously about thinking about circular economy and teaching the younger people about how to avoid these disasters by doing things that require in a circular economy. So what caused this? Okay, let's go back to why do we have all these problems? Okay, let's take a walk through history. Industrial Revolution, and this is about 300 years ago, right? When first it started off with the steam engine. People discovered, somebody invented the steam engine, and so that's when they wanted coal to run the steam engine, and they wanted steel to make the tracks, and so and then also they they wanted machines for textiles for machines, and so the Industrial Revolution developed mostly in the Western world, and because of that they needed coal. So they started digging in and bringing out coal and creating stuff with the coal, because in order to get steel or iron for the railroads, they had to convert iron ore to iron. Again, that you need coal, because you have in the blast furnace you use iron oxide and carbon and coal and get iron. So whole Industrial Revolution created all of these systems which are not circular. One way, take resources from the earth and use them up, and you end up with stuff that pollutes the environment and creates problems for us, right? That's what so the Industrial Revolution, the capitalist society, we all are part of that. We're all guilty of moving in that direction. In a short period of time, it has started changing our planet and lives over the last 300 years. particularly in the last 100 years, more and more people have been able to afford all these things that are resulting from these processes, which are not circular processes, which are one-way processes generating carbon dioxide, waste, and stuff like that. And they want to eat more. We want to have more parties, and in each party we want to have more pizzas and more alcohol and more plastic containers and more this and more that. A lot of it goes to waste, and a lot of plastic goes to waste, and we want to use more computers, more mobile phone, and so more and more overconsumption. Much of it, a lot of it gets wasted just because I have the money. I buy so much and I waste. So that's the modern society, is overconsumption. Okay. Now this leads to this important topic of climate change, because that's what's happening. Because we have not, over the last 300-400 years, thought about the circular economy. Nobody has really given a serious thought to what is the consequence of just going one way. Okay, and then more and more one way. More and more people are doing all these things. Is overconsumption. Okay, and the overpopulation. Lots of people demand for goods. Mind-boggling volumes of waste generated, as well as air, soil, water pollution. All of this has a huge negative impact on the human ecosystem. Okay, and that's why it's important for us to think about circular economy. Okay, so in the last few weeks, when, after I given this topic of circular economy, I learned so much. But anyway, even before that, I had some idea as to what needs to be think how seriously this problem is. So it helped me put these thoughts together. And so this is all important, right? But a circular economy is different from the linear economy. Okay, it's difficult to do, but we must move in that direction gradually. Okay, so circular economy works quite differently. Products and services in the circular economy are designed in a way that allows them to be reused, either in the biological or technical cycles. You start from the design aspect itself and reuse, and how would you reuse it once it gets used up. All products are manufactured in a way so they can be disassembled, and materials can be either broken down by nature or returned to production. Okay, just imagine if you were to take a computer and then once you use it up, then break it up and then put it back, either to nature or production, or a car or whatever. Okay, so biological materials, again, therefore consist of non-toxic, clean, technical material design. So that is what circular economy is, right? Okay, the advantage from this is that there'll be different companies doing different parts of this, right? So therefore, there's a cascading effect. Some companies will take the used material from some other product, and then they'll find a way to reuse it. Another company will do something else, and they all participate in the circular economy together. So this creates new opportunities for entrepreneurship, for infrastructure, energy production to fit the circular model. It's not there yet. We're a long way from that, but I think engineering education, colleges, universities, should all be thinking along this direction. And new companies will form to be part of this circular economy to extend the life of products and find a way to use them, reuse them, design for circular use. So this is really, where we should be going. We're not there. We're not even close to being there. We haven't even started in a significant way. But I'm convinced that in the next 20, 30 years, the next generation of young engineers would want to go in that direction. And we as teachers of the next generation must give them the opportunity to understand these and move in that direction. Okay. In the end, this is what our task is. This is what our leadership needs to be all about. Remember our title, Leadership Change to Address the Circular Economy. I've told you a little bit about what circular economy is, and hopefully you agree with some of what I said. Now we have to say, how do we get people to lead change? Get the next generation to think and design a sustainable way using circular business systems to build a better future. Otherwise, there will be no future. As you can see, right? If you have one-way design, there will be no future. So in order to have a future and to have a good future, we have to make sure that we are thinking about a circular economy, right? Let's spend a couple of minutes on what a little bit of research that I came up with about how serious the problem is, okay? Because some of you might have heard that we had this conference called COP 26, which was the climate change conference. There is, okay, a lot of people say, oh no, that this not this part, this is not that serious. This guy Krishna VEDULA is unnecessarily making it sound serious. It's really not that serious. Nobody's going to have a problem. We'll live on forever. Everything will be fine. that's a fool's dream, right? You can sit back and think about that. But the facts are here. There are facts. But before going to the facts, I'll tell you about my favorite story. I didn't put a slide in here because I forgot that I would want to tell this story. This is called the boiled frog story. Okay, a boiled frog. A frog made a kappa. Okay, a frog. If you put a frog in a utensil with water, it'll be happy. It'll go in there. Room temperature water, it's happy. It likes to stay in water, right? If you put that frog in a boiling water, though, it doesn't like it. It jumps out immediately. Okay, if you put in boiling water, it jumps out immediately. It knows, oh, that boiling water not good for my life. I'll die and jump out. Okay, now take that frog and put it into room temperature water, and then slowly start heating up the water with a little burner underneath it. So it's slowly heated up. So the frog does not realize that small change is happening. And as it gets a little warmer, oh, it's wow, this is nice. I'm feeling nice and warm. A little bit warmer. Nice. Oh, wow, this is nice, nice. And then slowly heat it up to the boiling point. And the frog has not realized that it is now boiling and it will die. Okay, doesn't jump out because there's a slow change in the temperature. If there's a sudden change, then oh yeah, right, I panic. The slow change in temperature and that's called the boiled frog story, right? That's kind of what's happening to us. Slowly, it has been changing. The environment, everything has been changing all over the world. And this particular plot, and the y-axis is carbon dioxide, and on the x-axis is years. Okay, way back here is 80,000 BC, before today. Okay, before BT, you can say it. 700,000 years ago, 400,000 years ago. This is a plot of carbon dioxide. So people have found fossil samples from old years and estimated the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere all these years, 100,000 years ago. So not much change until recently, until about 1700. And that happens to coincide with the Industrial Revolution, where we started producing all of these things that create carbon dioxide. And then suddenly it starts shooting up. And we see now, 1950, it's here, 2000, way up here. This is scientific evidence, folks. We're all scientists and engineers and managers, rational thinkers. Here's proof that there is a spike increase in carbon dioxide in the last 100 years or so. People have measured this, okay? And this comes from very reliable sources, okay? So the Earth is getting warmer because carbon dioxide is being trapped in the atmosphere. It's coming out of these things that we're doing and has no other place to go. It just accumulates in the atmosphere. And that amount of carbon dioxide will affect the transfer of infrared energy from the sun and other sources of heat. And it's like having a greenhouse. The gases, carbon dioxide, is like Earth becomes like a greenhouse, and the Earth becomes warmer and warmer and warmer because of the increased amount of carbon dioxide. Okay, so this carbon cycle, you have fossil fuel consumption, carbon dioxide in the air. If you're lucky, some trees will use up the carbon dioxide. Okay, when there is sunlight, photosynthesis, nature has provided us a way to get rid of carbon dioxide. Plants during the sun, when the sun will interact and consume carbon dioxide, produce oxygen. Wow, that's great stuff, right? More, come on, give me more plants. That's why everybody's having this, plant more trees to in a way to get back, go into a cyclic mode, right? Circular economy. But then not enough is happening. Okay, more and more of this is coming out. More fossil fuels are being used up, and the carbon cycle is creating all these problems, right? What other evidence is there of climate change? This is the global climate change folks from NASA. They measure the temperature of the Earth. Okay, Earth has increased by 1.18 degrees centigrade in the last century. Wow, that's not how much. Why should we worry about it? 1.18 degrees, not worry. Keep that in mind. Okay, so it is a huge deal. Okay. If our body temperature, which is normal at 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit, increases by 1 degree, we start getting really worried. And 2 degrees, we start, oh my God, I'm going to die soon, right? So something that's normally at a certain temperature over hundreds of thousands of years, the temperature starts increasing, lots and lots of change happens. When that happens, then oceans start increasing in temperature. And this has been documented. Okay. Ice starts melting in the mountains. Glaciers start melting, snow starts melting. And so now huge amounts of water being generated, huge amounts of snow cover being decreased. Okay, so there is scientific, and because of all that water, the sea level will start rising. Arctic ice will start decreasing. Extreme events will start happening. Fires and winds and cyclones and floods, all of that will start happening. And there is scientific evidence that this is how all has started happening in our generation. Okay, extreme climate events are intensifying. More and more of these extreme climate events are beginning to happen. Flooding, rainfall, because when the oceans are becoming warmer, it's going to impact the monsoons. It's going to impact how often rain will come, and the melting ice. Then it will impact the amount of water that's coming in. So all of this is evidence, proof that something. This is a picture of the 2015 Chennai floods, and again this year there was another flood. Okay, more and more of these floods are happening in the last, and there's evidence of that in the last 20-30 years. More and more wildfires, more and more droughts are happening all over the world. Okay, all of this is a result of climate change. All result that we have not been thinking about things in a circular way, about a circular economy. It's a result of that we are thinking linear. Produce, overconsume, and all this stuff generates carbon dioxide and creates all these problems. Okay, I'm going to stop there and see what you think about what I just said. And any thoughts on this? Do you have any concerns about what I just mentioned? Can you put your thoughts together and say, hey, I learned something. Did you learn anything new today, right now, in the last half an hour? Or did you know this already? What did you learn new that has kind of made you think right now in the last few slides? Let's have you learn a lot. Okay, tell me what, Shabana. Okay, you learned a lot, right? But tell me one particular thing that's stuck in your head. Oh my God. Tell me one thing yeah, tell me.
This in my class, integrate these ideas in my English class for paragraph writing, public speaking, and we also came to know a lot about recycling and water cycle also. Mm-hmm. It's a very informative.
Mm-hmm. So how will you, what specific things will you teach them in your course? And from what I just mentioned here, what's the most significant point? Anybody else? Shabna has given her thoughts. Somebody else?
Thank you.
The world is in danger. Okay, okay. Shahid says, my learning. Okay, world is in danger, but it's not enough to tell people world is in danger. So yeah, so what? I mean, how do you know?
So if you allow me, I just want to come. What I would feel as a leader or being a future leader, we should try to develop certain good practices within the organization so that it should lead to the concept of circular economy. And at the same time, encourage research in that area so that we can develop some technology.
Yes.
And we can give it back to this society. Yes. Because ultimately, preaching all these things, we are seeing it from our high school level. But ultimately, we need solution also.
Exactly.
So unless we provide a common man the solution, they will keep on doing the same thing.
Yes.
So as a technology person, we have to provide them the solution also.
So it should be in our curriculum. It should be in our research.
Yeah, sure, for sure. And we should encourage research.
Yeah, more
That's
and more.
The main thing.
Yeah, every field can do it, Manoj Kumar. Okay, as you said, very good comments.
See, I will tell you, my concept is that portable recycling of plastics at the society level and make them into the balls. Right, normally, what happens? We collect it from the society, dumped it at this, what you say, the mountains of the debris, and then BMC put an options, and in that auction the big firm will come. It takes a lot of time. It seeping into the ground and other harmful. By the time a lot of bad thing has already happened.
Right.
So why don't we decentralize this activity? Mandatory, make it in all these societies. What you said, gated societies should not isolate themselves. They have a mandated that they, just like what nowadays the rain harvesting is a mandate.
Very good.
In that fashion, we should also have recycling should be the segregation of all the waste, and also having a portable recycling thing should happen. Convert it into balls and sell that balls to this recycling plants and all. They can make it some useful product out of that.
Yeah, so that is one aspect. Manoj, very good. Anybody else can talk about
yeah, Naik sir wants to come in. Naik sir, please.
Naik sir, yeah, anybody come in?
Sir. It is a nice presentation.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, I am not actually in academic. I am working in automotive sector.
Yeah, that's important area, right?
Relevant.
It's very relevant to that.
Global warming, to reduce the carbon dioxide. Every company also moving on EV. So my company also aggressively work on EV sector. We are also planning on hydrogen fuel, alternative fuel. So this is our next feature, sir.
Right. Okay, that's good. Good to hear. So somebody's saying, Professor, we are segregating at source in our apartments. Yeah, that is good. That's the start. But just taking care of waste management is not enough. We have to go to the source of the power generation, right? We are using coal and producing it. So unless we hit at the major sources of carbon dioxide, nothing much will happen. We'll just be tinkering around with the edges. And so this is not something, and again, we have to teach our students to design things in such a way that energy is coming from non-fossil fuel opportunity basis. And a lot of time people say, okay, I'm going to use electric car, but then the electric car has to be charged, right? If the charging is happening from a power station, from using the same conventional energy, you're still again going back to coal and carbon dioxide. So there has to be a deep thought and in the education and discussion about all these things in all aspects. And then even the electronic waste, what do you do with that? And so on. So that's good. Control the pollution by technology. So again, the point I'm trying to make is that each one of us, I mean, the fact that we are here today in this FDP is because we are somehow connected to, learning, teaching and learning, educating people of the manufacturing industry. And so we have to introduce all of these concepts wherever we are and take the leadership role in doing that. Okay, great. Any other comments before I move on?
Sir, I would like to one more point, sir. Sure. Regarding the recycle, I will like yesterday also, I called my EcoGuard person to servicing that EcoGuard, changing the membrane. Okay. After changing membrane, he took all this old one. When I asked why you are taking this back, so this is our company requirement for recycling. Okay. Similarly, if you introduce in automobile sector, after changing the oil filter, fuel filter, oil, there should be, government should be make some policy. Okay, if you are changing the filter, then you should take back. Otherwise, what will do? People are burning that all this oil filter is making the polluted to nature.
Exactly.
That is my observation.
Yeah, there should be that. That means you have to enter the area of policy as well, because students or young people have to understand that there have to be certain policies made, because otherwise people will just throw them outside. And so there is the whole issue of policy making and so on. So it's very good. So we should teach our students not just technical things, but also how to be involved with decision making and working with policy makers. Okay, Shahid again is saying how should we as populace respond to the Indian vehicle scrappage policy? Shahid, I'm not very familiar with the Indian vehicle scrappage policy, but again, that may be something that you can introduce as a discussion item in your own classroom. Okay, and but in India, actually, we use vehicles much longer. In the United States, every 2-3 years, they change them. And the most wasteful society is actually the United States. And India
and so
actually
for power sector, what you said, sir, in solar and nuclear, a lot of research needs to be done. That's the only way out for us. Otherwise, we are just but what we are doing, we are making our cities clean and just sending all the pollution to the coal centers. So there is no, it's not a solution. It's just shifting the problem from one side to another side.
Exactly. And again, people are you will bump into politics and big business, big companies, because a lot of people make money from coal, right?
Exactly.
The coal mining is happening. People make a lot of money out of that. So they're going to push back and say, they're going to bribe the politicians and say, no, don't pass any policies where coal consumption decreases. So these are the type of technical and non-technical discussions that we need to start having with the future generation of youngsters in the classrooms. That's what's important, because I'm 76 years old. I'm not going to face a serious problem. In 10, 15 years, I'll die. And many of you might also, in your 50 years or so, you might be in that. But the students in our classrooms, they will be alive 50 to 75 years from now. They will face the brunt of all of these things. So it's our responsibility for them to understand these things and help them think to become leaders in this area. Okay, great, good conversation. So I'm going to move on and see how this where we go from here. Okay, so again, this is all the same thing again. I'm going to keep moving. Sea level will rise, and I think in the next 150 to 100 years, a lot of stuff will happen. So I go back to my first slide and say, okay, we have had some understanding of the circular economy. Oh, we already used up 1 hour. Okay, I didn't think of that. Okay, let's talk. Let's go quite quickly through leadership. Okay, let's have all of you think about what is the meaning of leadership. Okay, give me one characteristic of a leader. Can you text everybody? Can I see some text? What is one characteristic of leadership? Okay, whether it's a faculty member, administrator, or student, what is one characteristic of a leader? So I want to grow something, I need to know what it is, right? What do I want to grow? I want to grow a leader, right? But what does that mean? What is one characteristic of a leader? Okay, empathy, motivate the team. Okay, keep coming. Yeah, assertiveness. Yeah, very good, Pooja. But now lead by example, motivation, want to follow. Exactly, lead by example and follow also. Supporting. Yeah, that's good. Empathy, supporting. I'm hearing some really good points here. Okay, so a couple more. Let's see a few more. Communication. Yeah, excellent. Create teams. Okay. So you've heard a lot about leadership and you know a lot, not biased. Okay, excellent. Harnessing potential of team, wonderful. So leadership is something that's been that people have been talking about, and all of us have the potential for leadership. Okay, and that's important. So let's exercise that. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes just talking in general about pretty much the same thing that you mentioned already. All of you have come up with, and so it should not take too long. The question is, okay, what is leadership? And leadership can be at the student level, faculty level, administration level. It doesn't have to be just people in positions of power who have a title. That they're not necessarily those people are leaders, but everybody has to be a leader because you can change things with your leadership. Okay, leadership is has to do with changing things. Okay, so so this concept of leadership versus management. So leaders establish direction, help motivate people. Managers, just do the routine things, budgeting, organizing. It's important. Management also is important. So most good leaders have combination of leadership and management, and because you need to have somebody putting things in order, budgeting, organizing, controlling. But a lot of times, many of our leaders are only focusing on writing reports and planning and stuff like that, preparing for the NIRF ranking, or some accreditation, or something that you have something that you have to follow. So that is what a lot of principals and deans seem to do, is just the routine management stuff there, and that's not good. They should have enough leadership, change potential in their ability, and not just be good managers. You have to have people who have the leadership ability to align people. That's important. Aligning people, motivating, inspiring. That's very important. Talk to them, convince them, okay, and move in the direction. Planning, management is important, but our leadership is really critical. So that is but then many people who are HODs and deans and principals, they think, oh, I'm a leader, but all they're doing is managing paperwork every day from morning to evening. That's not leadership. You have to do some of that, but you have to then motivate people and move them forward. So again, a distinction between a boss, and some people think I'm the boss. Okay, see in the top, in this one here, this sheep is up in the front. I'm the boss. I'm going to stay here, and you all follow me, right? That's not right. A leader becomes part of the group and works with the group and coaches them, works with them, generates enthusiasm. So we will do it together. Not I will do it, I will lead and you follow. This is I am a leader, so I will have all the good ideas and I will generate some, but then everybody else has to follow. That's wrong. We will do it together. We will look for good ideas from everybody and we give credit to everybody. And together let's go. Okay, that's what leadership is about. Okay, so boss, if somebody like this says, I'm going to lead, you just come follow me. That's not right. So there's a huge difference between being a boss and being a leader. By the way, I want to acknowledge my good friend Manu Vora, who's in Chicago, who has from the School of Business there as a company business excellence. For some of the slides I borrowed from him. He teaches a course for IUCEE for administrative leaders, and fantastic. Okay, so anybody among you wants to take such a course from IUCEE, just email me and I will put you in contact. Okay, so and then a few more thoughts about what is a I'm not going to show this video. Let's just move on. And 7 habits. Many of you have heard of Stephen Covey. Again, lots of words, but I think actually practically implementing it is the key. And there's something that you do independently, something that you have to be independent, and something you have to do interdependent. So many things, and we're not going to. So how to be a good leader? Have a vision, create a vision, exude positive energy, be transparent, courage to make unpopular decisions, probe and push. Questions are answered with action, inspire, celebrate. All of these are things. This is Jack Welch, who is the CEO of General Electric for many years. There's something from him, right? And again, this is the Business Excellence Inc. is the one that Manu Vora is. So leaders help work with the team to generate ideas together, and then you act together, and you look at the results and celebrate for the good results. And if they're not so good, then go back and reformulate it. Involve people, learn from what you're doing, and then share and apply. So all of these are kinds of things that is leadership strategies that many of you might have taken courses, or maybe even this week you might have come across a lot of that. Some of us are teachers, and among teachers also there is distinction. You might be just transmitting information, adhyapak, just information. Then information, and then a little bit about the knowledge related to the information, that becomes upadhyaya, right? And then you put some skills in part of it, then it becomes acharya. And then give some insights into what all that are. That's the next level, pandit. And then visionary thinking, drishta. And then finally wisdom. So anyway, this is my my friend's version of different types of teachers. Again, just to motivate, what leaders, I cannot change the direction of the wind. You have to admit that, right? The wind is blowing, climate change is here. Okay. But I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. So that's what a leader does. Okay, should not complain about what's going on, but I must just adjust my sails and my team's sails to move in the to reach my destination. Okay, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Again, these are all motivational type of things, but which you might have heard before. Yeah, tell me something that you're trying to say, somebody. Okay, so this one says, do not go where the path may lead. There may be a path, and do not go where it may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. This is Ralph Waldo Emerson that some of you might have heard about. I mean, all inspiring quotes from people, various people. Radhakrishnan says, when we think we know, when we think we know, okay, oh yeah, I know all this stuff, I know everything, then we cease to learn. So we have to realize that we have so much more to learn. If we think that we are experts, we already know so many things, and we already know, then we stop, then we cease to learn. So lifelong learning, we must be humble. Say, I don't know. I must continue to learn. Okay, let's not be arrogant and say, oh, I know, I'm an expert in this field. I know. Okay, so then we stop learning because I'm an expert, right? So this is something from the World Economic Forum for the future generation. These are the skills that we need to impart to our students coming out of our colleges, institutions. There are lots of commonalities between what it looked like in 2020 and 2022. So as leaders in education institutions, we must change the way we teach, change our institutions so that they have these skills of creativity, analytical thinking, complex problem solving, critical thinking analysis, emotional intelligence. That's a very important one. How many of us help students develop emotional intelligence in our courses? Not very few, not very many, right? If any of you does, just put the chat box. Does any of you do anything in your classrooms, in your courses, in the curriculum to develop emotional intelligence of the, Pooja, tell me a little bit about how you do that, emotional intelligence of the students.
Yeah,
what do you do?
Good afternoon, sir, and a wonderful session we are having. And sir, actually we conduct role plays and we have case studies. So we put them into the situations and we ask them to respond to it, and then by doing it like themselves, they understand more. We make them do some psychometric tests and
excellent.
Yeah,
very good. Yeah, great. Yeah, great. Thank you, Pooja. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, Komal, thanks for saying very informative session, but give me some comments. Let's say a specific thing. I'm doing this and I'm having difficulty doing this. Okay, so let's so good. So these are the qualities, and so these are the qualities that the world says students should have, graduates should have to become employable and be useful to the world. Okay, and keep in mind, these qualities cannot be given to them if we focus on students just mugging up and passing exams. That's marks culture, which they get right from the time they are in school, high school, they come to college, and we reinforce that in many of our courses. Marks, you must get 100%, 99%, otherwise you're an idiot, you won't get a job. Okay, that marks culture forces them to mug up chapter after chapter. I know that because I've been through that myself. Okay, mug up. It happens all over the world, in fact. Okay, mug up and get marks, and then, oh, I'm a great engineer, right? But just mugging up something does not give you any of these qualities that the world is looking for being good, productive citizens and human beings doing a good job. Okay, so keep that in mind. We have to get away. So that'll be my last segment of the presentation. Will be how change how we teach and how to take leadership in teaching to help students get next generation be better able to deal with the circular economy. Okay, go in that direction. Okay. So as somebody has pointed out already, communication. Okay, no matter what job you have in life, look, that's the reading in the bottom, your success will be determined 5% by your academic credentials, whether you have PhD in this area or that area or bachelor or whatever. 15% by your professional experiences. What have you done in that area? 80% by your communication skills. Can you talk? Can you communicate your ideas? Can you motivate people? Can you make change happen? Can you get things done through communication? That is the key. And communication can be verbal, written, presentation, and one that's not in here is important for communication is listening. Listen to the other person. A lot of us make the mistake of saying, oh, I know so much that I'm going to just keep talking and telling people what I know, right? You don't give the other person a chance to talk. And when the other person starts talking, you're thinking of something else. Oh yeah, no, what that person is saying not so important, so I'm not going to listen to that person and just do something else. Listen to what other people are saying and then work with them and build a team and make change happen together with other people. So that's very critical, communication skills. And we do a very, very poor job, particularly in engineering colleges, very, very poor job of developing these skills among our students. We must do this. In every course that we teach, we must have a way to introduce communication skills as a component of the course, and as a way that you would grade the students for writing good project reports, or for making good presentations, or by listening to somebody and summarizing or reflecting on something that people are saying. All this is part of being a leader. Leadership is about developing good qualities in other people around you and helping them work as teams with you and make change happen to address the challenges that we face. And the biggest challenge we face today is the need for a circular economy. The linear economy is going to get us into trouble. So summarizing leadership segment of it, leadership is all about influencing, igniting, and inspiring. Inspiring ordinary people to do extraordinary things. That's the key. Everybody can do extraordinary things. It's up to us to get them to that point of igniting, inspiring them to do extraordinary things. And we can all do that. We can all do that. And so let us promise ourselves that this is what we will do with the people, that the students and the community that has been placed under our guidance. They've trusted us to give those youngsters something to make out of themselves and be leaders of the future. So we can do that by making ordinary students, not just the brilliant students. And a lot of time what we do is in our classrooms, and I've noticed this with the National Board of, even government agencies, there are documents where they talk about slow learners. There is no slow learner. Students learn in different learning styles. Some of them have different backgrounds, which may not be able, they may not be able to keep up with what you're covering in the class. That does not mean that they're slow learners. When you call them slow learners, automatically you are making them feel bad about themselves. Okay, emotionally they become, oh, I'm a slow learner, I'm stupid, I'm not going to be any use. Immediately you are beating down on them and making them even worse. All are good people, they're all good people, many people, they can all do extraordinary things. It's up to us as leaders to inspire them to do extraordinary things. Okay, so next, I don't know what this question is all about, but I'm just asking myself, what should I talk about next, right? So here is, what do we do? Okay, that's the question here. Okay, so what can we do? How can we help in this direction? I'm sure many of you already are doing great things, but what we are doing as part of IUCEE is something in that direction. Again, it's as I think Jack Frost said, okay, the woods are deep and I have miles to go before I sleep, right? The woods are dark and deep. I have miles to go before I sleep. So we have just started this, then for 10 years, just still learning a lot and moving people in a way that that they can be good engineers. We're focusing on engineering colleges. I know in this audience today you have faculty from other disciplines besides engineering, but in this case, because I'm an engineer, because my community of people engineering, we focus on engineering, but then we know engineers have to have all the other qualities, non-engineering type of education, and to be part of a society. So we have a mantra. Okay, the mantra is, I am teaching, are they learning? Very simple mantra. I am teaching, are they learning? And so very important to keep this in mind, because a lot of us, we teach and it becomes a one-way delivery. And students, we're not sure, we have to ask ourselves, are they really learning, right? This generation of youngsters is quite different. And because all the technology and all these things that are happening, COVID has come, all these things, okay? So our focus should be on the learning that is happening, not on what I'm teaching. I'm an expert in this area. I get up on the stage, I say, well, I'm going to talk all kinds of great stuff and impress my students about how much I know. That is not important. Point is, are the students learning anything out of this whole process? That's our mantra and that's our focus. That's what we try to do. We're working with about 100 engineering colleges all over, or universities all over India. And the focus is, work with faculty and students and say, okay, can we make sure they're learning? Can we improve their learning based on what we're teaching, right? So just quickly going through, just boilerplate stuff. Last year we became a Section 8 company. Now we have all the things that go along with it. Our mission is to improve the quality and global relevance, which therefore brings into it the circular economy part of it, global relevance of engineering education in India. Okay, we do all kinds of stuff: webinars, workshops, short courses, annual events, conferences, and for faculty, for students, and for leaders, and all that stuff. No need for me to go into details of this, but just we started way back with some help from Narayan Murthy of Infosys and Deshpande, and then gradually we realized that we have to have colleges become members. That way we can have a certain financial sustainability. So we have a small team that works and makes all it happen. 2015 we started a faculty certification program with focus on teaching and learning, so that that answer question that I asked, I'm teaching, are they learning? They can answer that question in a positive way and say yes. Okay, so our certification program is tailored in such a way that the faculty come through that course, begin to see that they can answer that question, yes, they are learning. Okay, that's the objective, that they should use that mantra, and by the end of the course be able to say, yes, they are learning, because I have changed the way I teach, so make it more student focused, and therefore I'm more concerned about whether they're learning rather than whether I'm just teaching, right? So that, and there's a whole amount of work. That's a course, that's a certification program that takes about 5 months, and we offer that every semester. Okay, so then we have, engaged leadership, annual summits, annual conference. Just last year, we started working directly with the students, and the students from chapter, they do projects and so on. So one thing that we have convinced ourselves, and I'm sure all of you are convinced, is engineers, and not just engineers, everybody should do projects. The only way you learn a topic is by doing projects. Okay, this is just some folks that are on our board. We have a US, some people are there, some people here, and the connections between them, and we're board, various people. We have a advisory board which is building up. Uday Desai, who was the founding director of IIT Hyderabad, this advisory board. Manu Vora that I talked about, Indra Parekh, founder of the Liberal Arts University, and then we have all these verticals: faculty development, student development, institution development, global partnerships, and global industry partnerships, and so on. And so the key is all of these areas we focus on the new education policy. We'll talk a little bit about that before we come to an end of this. So, it's really, because that's really exciting, so that policy. It's there, but implementing it is not that easy. And then the focus on sustainability, which is all about this circular economy that we talked about, and then project-based learning, which is about really doing something rather than just mugging up and passing exams. Okay, so they're all intertwined together. So that's our focus in all these programs, doing with students and faculty and leadership. Okay, so, and we've been experimenting, trial and error, and so on. And again, just we got some our ecosystem, some companies that work with us, and 50 plus colleges that are member of our consortium, and we impacted lots of institutions all over the past 10 years. In fact, C.V. Raman was a member of ours until some leadership change happened 3-4 years ago, and somehow we lost connection with them. I'm hoping that maybe they'll come back and become a member of the IUCEE consortium. And if all of this makes sense, maybe they can, maybe Dr. Satyanarayana can connect with me and become part of a community. So anyway, lots of impact. And so we have, this year we've got a lot of emphasis on entrepreneurship, because that's important. A lot of our students, they think, okay, I'm going to get a degree and just get a job, but there aren't enough jobs, and the jobs that are there are not addressing some of these important issues that circular economy brings up. So the students graduating should become entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, or just entrepreneurs that are taking into account all of these things that we talked about, and the industry. So we have many things in that area that we have. Okay, so we just have, we have a, this is just a commercial public. Join us, and if you guys, whatever institution you're from, if you think you have got something from what I said today, just send me an email. I'll give you my email ID at the end. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so Krishna, just my first name at IUCEE, which is organization.org. Just send me an email. Say, hey, I like what you said. Maybe I can think about convincing my college or other faculty in my colleges to become members. You don't know, okay? So just initiate the conversation. You never know where we'll go from there. So I like to think about what we do as an ecosystem, because we do so many different things. And so in order for this young lady to be healthy and happy, need fresh air, good grass, good stuff, trees, mountains, and so on, sunshine. And so we provide those kinds of things. We have teacher certification, student conferences, student chapters, collaboration industry, clean and green campus course, entrepreneurship, annual conference. All of these things contribute to the well-being of the engineering graduate, of the student, so that the student comes out as a proper, well-developed person. Okay, that's the whole point over here. Okay, so then let's see. Let me just skip here. Some of our experts from around the world, they're from all over the world. And this lady in the middle here, Veena Kumar, she's the one who's the architect of our certification program. And this is Manu Vora here that I was talking to you about leadership. And again, lots of people in here are very, very active leaders in our network, from some colleges from India, some people from outside India, and you all work together towards a mission of our. And there are some of the colleges that are members of our institution. At the end, I'll mention a little bit about some success stories from some of these people. And of course, these are all important things that colleges have to worry about, and they spend a lot of time. Unfortunately, a lot of administrators, the government, makes you waste too much time on these on compliances, NIRF ranking, Atal ranking, and accreditation. And so the administrators in your colleges are busy managing the system, not leading, but managing the faculty, and the faculty are busy filling up forms and putting data together. And so all of you attending the FDP today, you'll all get certificates, and you'll put that in your resume, you'll give it to your HOD, and he'll put it in some form for the NIRF ranking, and your ranking of your university goes up because many of you attended this FDP, and so on, right? All of that is stuff. It's managing and not contributing to leadership and change that is really needed. Okay, so but you have to do it to some extent. But a balance is important, right? The one that the next slide I just want to emphasize. Let's see what happened. I got stuck here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is an important slide. Okay, this is I want to focus a couple of minutes on this. This is accreditation, the National Board of Accreditation, and those of you who are engineering are very familiar with this. Those are not. You have your own version of this of your accreditation, and in there you will have certain list of a dozen things that your graduates should have by the time they graduate. What attributes that your students should have when they graduate, right? And if you look at this list for engineering, you find that 1 to 5, and then 6 to 12. Look at them carefully. 6 stays in teamwork, 7 is communication skills, professionalism, impact on society, ethics, project management, lifelong learning. These are things that you cannot teach in a conventional classroom. Still, we continue to teach 90% of what we do are conventional classroom activities where the students mug up and try to pass exams. As teachers, we're comfortable in that zone of getting students to mug up and pass exams, and they don't want to change that thing. But look at it. 7 out of the 12 attributes cannot be taught using a conventional classroom approach. You have to teach them using projects and teams, work on real world case studies, etc., which is what, by the way, the new education policy is emphasizing. So we have to move in that direction. Every one of us has to think seriously, how do we move in the direction where whatever field, it is not just engineering, whatever other discipline you're in, this is important. These all 6 to 12 are very important. Okay, so we have to do that. This is our team that has this certification program where we train teachers into answering that question. I'm teaching, are they learning? Okay, how do you know that they're learning? Okay, what do you have to do to make sure they're learning? So we have various ways that we help them practice in the classroom to do these things, right? Okay, so, and then we have lots of webinars, and this is my friend Bill Oakes from Purdue. He works on engineering projects in a community service. As I said, in the accreditation list, the last 7 items cannot be taught unless you do projects. And here he believes that in Purdue, they started this program, and we're doing it in India also. Students work on community projects. And by doing community projects, they learn all the skills that they will get by doing any high-level technical project as well. And those 7 attributes and the outcomes can be got from that, right? And so work on community projects means you can work on water, energy, waste management, all these things, and of course, rural or, and so you're learning a lot about the circular economy while you're developing the skills that you have, that you need to become employable and leaders. Okay, we have annual conferences, summits, lots and lots of activities. Okay, global network. We have a Scopus Index journal where we faculty publish in this area. So you can see that lots of things that we have developed over the years, has been slowly making an impact in the 100 colleges that we are working with. And so let's spend a few minutes on the on national education policy. I'll come back to that in just a minute. But let me take a few minutes, okay? Just I still have a half an hour, so I know you guys are getting tired also. This is an example that I use for engineering students. Okay, so engineering, people think, oh, engineering has started just recently. Engineering started a long time ago. So this person has a need, he wants food, so he wants to develop a tool, design a tool, and build a tool for getting food, a bow and arrow. So what do? I'm hungry, I see an animal is running faster than me, so I have to use my creative thinking to figure out how to design something And that's what engineering is, not mugging up and passing exams, right? You have a need and you find a solution to it. And so they found a solution by taking a little stick and figuring out that if I bend it and tie a rope on it, then I can, then I can shoot and kill the animal. So that is engineering. And now we have very sophisticated bows and arrows that are used in the Olympics. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, let's take a few minutes, take a trip. All right. Maybe I'll get you to chat a little bit while we do take this trip. This is my time machine. Okay. And I like to do this a lot with students, but I'm sure you'll also enjoy this. This is my time machine. It's not been designed, invented yet, but it's just an imaginary thing and time machine. So time machine, what does the time machine do? You can go forward in time or backward in time in time machine. So what I want you to do first, think about it, and I want you to participate, all of you to participate, 90 of you, but actively in this, okay? So the first part of this exercise is to think first before you get into the time machine. Think about this. What are the needs of human beings? Okay, we have 8. I just put together 8, and there may be more. Okay, and what I want you to think of, one technology being used today to satisfy the needs in red, like communication, health, and transportation. Just any one of them, one technology. Just put in chat box. Come on, let's have some fun. Okay. Communication or health or transportation. Think of one technology that we use today. Okay, come on in. Let's have some little fun here. I know you're getting tired and bored, but this will wake you up a little bit. Okay, one technology that we're using today. Okay, artificial cell phones. Okay, so communication, transportation, loop by mask, internet for communication. Okay, keep going. One technology we're using today, automobile, in either communication, health, or transportation. Yeah, keep coming. More good. Shabana, health apps, new machine, biotechnology, transportation, computers with networks. Okay, good. So these are all the technology that we're using today, right? Okay, now we will go to the next slide. All right, and we want to go back in the time machine, 100 years. We're going to go back 100 years to 1922. Okay, and you're going to go back to 1922 in the time machine. So this mentally you're transporting yourself and you're getting out of the time machine in 1922, wherever you are, whichever part of the world you're in. You get out and now look around and ask yourself, think of one technology being used in 1922 for satisfying your needs for communication, health, and transportation. Give me one example of any one of them. Let's do chat again. Boom, boom, boom. Go, Telegram, okay? Telephone, okay? Yeah, they might have just started telephone that 100 years ago. Okay, more. Transportation, health, post office. Yeah, there you go. Mailbox, yep, okay. Animals, yeah, transportation animals, horses and bullock carts, yeah, okay. What else? Medicine, okay. Yeah, pharma industry, okay. Oh, keep going. Horses, yes, okay, good. Okay, so you get the idea, right? I'm the Ayurveda, herbal, all right? So 100 years ago, a steam engine, yes, that just got started, right? Even cars were barely just started. They just got Ford Motor Company, just about got started around 1920. Okay, so steam engine, okay, so you get the idea, right? 100 years ago, the technologies were so different, okay? So now you take your great-grandmother that is there in that village that you went to in 1922, and you put her back into the time machine with you, bring her back in the time machine with you, okay? And then go again, now come back to 2022, okay? Great-grandmother with you today, okay? And then open the door, all right? And your great-grandmother will look at all these things that we're using today for all our needs. Wow, look at all this magic. I can speak to my grandson 5,000 miles away on a video call. I can see the face. I can go from one place to another in a few hours by plane. I can have my heart replaced. Wow, look at all these things amazing, magic. So the technology that we use today will look like magic to that person coming in from 1922, right? And so that magic has happened because there have been magicians. Some magicians have created that magic. And who are those magicians? These are the people who, people from engineering, science, management, and business, or entrepreneurs all work together to come up with these new technologies. Created magic the last 100 years. Just imagine the enormous stuff that we did in the last 100 years. Of course, a lot of it has created problems in terms of the cyclic economy, but of the circular economy. But at least new technology have come out, and now we're doing. Unfortunately, while they were developing, we didn't think too much about the circular economy, and so we let it, generate stuff, okay, that we don't like now. Okay, then now we have to go forward, get back in the time machine, and go forward to 2122, 100 years from now, right? And then open the door. Think what you're going to be seeing there. One technology in each of these areas: communication, health, and transportation. 2122, you're getting out 2122. What are you seeing? Flying cars, okay? Come on, it's other augmented reality. Mohit says, okay, go ahead, keep coming. What do you see? Okay, chip in humans, okay, right? Hyperloop. Okay, keep coming, more. So you can see that you're having a difficult time even imagining what it's going to look like. Okay, maybe back to horses, maybe, who knows, because we might have killed out, done all damage to ourselves, right? Human self-healing on their own. Hyperloop. Okay, so the thing is, it's difficult to even imagine the magic that you will see 100 years from now. Okay, but there is this caveat: unless we have taken care of these problems created by the non-circular economy, unless we have taken care of the problems of climate change, global warming, waste, we would probably see a world that is back to the ice age. No human beings around even. Everybody just disappeared because we killed ourselves. That might happen too in 2122, unless we take seriously this issue of cyclical economy. Okay, don't look up. Okay, okay, look down. Okay, good one. Okay, all right. So there is so that is the thing. So we have to be careful that we are leaders in this age of cyclical circular economy. So then 2021-22, we are even better lives than we have today, and not necessarily technology. That's not the main thing. It's about the quality of life. Okay, that's we should be concerned about. It's not about the machine learning and robotics, artificial intelligence. See, the Western world is forcing us to think about all those things. Those may not be that important because they're not really helping us address the circular economy. For circular economy, we have to think about the energy, the water, the waste, and how to deal with all of these things. That is what we need to focus on to a large part in India, not just go chasing what the Western world is talking about. In fact, the Western world may not be that concerned about climate change because they're colder countries. Okay, so they'll be impacted by climate change much after India is affected. So they're already very cold. So global warming is not going to affect them that much for much later. But in India, the warm countries, we will see global warming, climate change, floods, cyclones, and so on much earlier. And we will have to deal with it before the rest of the world does. And the rest of the world is maybe fooling us into thinking that, oh, we need to think about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all of those kinds of things. And so we are not giving enough emphasis to the real needs of our society. Okay, so then 2022, we want to come out really good citizens. Okay, good people, leaders. So that is what leadership is about. Leadership to make this happen. Okay, so engineers will develop these technologies and to address these global challenges and create a circular economy. That's what we need to train our future engineers. Since this, I talk usually to engineering students, but I know many of you are from management and other areas. The future graduates of your colleges will invent and develop technology, because developing technology needs other skills other than engineering. It needs entrepreneurial skills, communication skills, management skills, and so on. Okay, so engineers will invent and develop this technology, and they will, our young generation will do that. So doing is important. Okay, when I talk to engineering students, I said, you have to do engineering, not just mug up engineering concepts. Okay, and so doing engineering, I continue to emphasize, do engineering, don't just mug up and pass exams. Okay, how to teach students to do engineering, by actually doing engineering. For example, if you want to teach a person how to ride a bicycle, okay, you have to teach them how to ride a bicycle, not by showing them a picture of a bicycle. not by showing them a videotape of somebody riding a bicycle, not by giving them a book about a bicycle, right? That's not how you learn bicycle. You put them on a bicycle. Okay, you can't give them, if you give them a book or lecture, video, not going to help. You have to teach them by, you cannot teach them by mugging up and passing exams. Now they still don't know how to ride a bicycle. You teach them by getting them on a bicycle, you fall. So everything that we do to progress is by trial and error. So leadership is about helping students, youngsters learn by doing, by making mistakes, and then going to the next level. So if you want leaders to address the circular economy, we have to have youngsters experimenting with things, experimenting with change, different way of doing things. And they will make mistakes. They'll not get it right the first time. That's what life is. So encourage them to do things and not to worry about making mistakes. If you think of the electric bulb, for example, the person who invented the electric bulb made 300 mistakes 300 times before he got it right. Okay, so you have to make mistakes before you get it right. So doing engineering is actually by doing it, not just mugging up and passing exams. So I go back to my mantra. I'm teaching, are they learning? Okay, that's a very important part of what we should do. Okay, so let me see what I have in the doc for you, maybe a few more things. So teaching this way, the one on the top is not going to get you there. You have to have them collaborate, discuss, teach, talk to each other. So if you're still teaching in this way, where you have a large classroom and you're giving a lecture from the top, from the front, that is not resulting in much learning. They have to do, not just take notes and mug up and pass exam. They have to do something, work together, come up with ideas, discuss, and so on. Okay, so changing the way we teach is very important for them to be able to address the needs of the circular economy. And okay, so what we've done this before, we've done okay, so some of you might have heard about the Bloom's taxonomy. This is what it is, different levels. So this is, and most of us still spend time with the understand and remember the bottom part. But our youngsters need to learn how to apply, analyze, evaluate, and create, and go to higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. And I know many of you know about all these things, but sometimes practicing this is very difficult. Okay, so you must make sure that every classroom that you teach, you're trying to get higher and higher in the Bloom's taxonomy. They must, of course, understand things, but they must go beyond, apply, evaluate, etc. So that's important. Okay, so so the new education policy. Let me take about 5 minutes on the new education policy. So it says, find and implement robust solutions to problems, to social problems, societal level. That's very important. That's what I'm talking about, right? A circular economy is what's important, part of the solution to the problems of society. Okay, so higher education must form the basis for knowledge and creation and innovation. That means do more research. Okay, come with more patents, come up with more entrepreneurship activities that will address the circular economy. Okay, now in our education institutions, people should do research, should teach in a way that addresses the circular economy, and come up with people who will become entrepreneurs, go out there and start companies that think and do in a different way. Okay, so the creation of greater opportunities for the individual. That's the goal of what we want to do. Okay, so then what we have just started, I want to give you 2 minutes on what we've just started with our consortium institutions. We have we have about 100 colleagues that we work with. Out of them, 50 are more active, and 30 of the institutions this year, just this month, this semester, we're starting working on giving them mini courses with the help of our experts, because NEP emphasizes holistic, multidisciplinary teaching. Okay, not just teaching mathematics and physics and chemistry in a one-dimensional manner, and then they don't know the value of those courses. They don't know what the application is, and they just mug up. But if you teach them in a holistic manner, they begin to understand the value of some of the fundamentals and how you can apply it to the real world. So we have these 6 courses that we are having them: artificial intelligence for all, entrepreneurial thinking, leadership sustainability, clean green campus, social emotional learning, design thinking. They all have a lot of relevance to the circular economy. And we're starting with first-year students, because that's where the problem begins. If you make them mug up something in the first year, they'll continue to mug up for the 4 years. So we're trying to introduce this new way of learning through these projects in these mini courses for first-year students in 30 institutions. We can't do it for all the students. The pilot involves about 60 students each institution. So just this next week, we're starting with about 2,000 students from 30 institutions combined. and having them taught by Bill Oakes on design thinking, Vemuri Artificial Intelligence for All, Pratibha Nagabhushan on social emotional learning, entrepreneurial thinking by Shalini and Ranji. And then we have 4 people talking about 3 and Green Campus. And then we have about 5 people talking about sustainability and leadership. They're from all over the world, some from India, some from US, and some from Australia, and so on. So this is an experiment we're trying about how to implement NEP in some of these colleges. And if the pilot works, then the colleges will start taking pieces of this and scaling it up to the other students in the classroom, okay? And these are some of the colleges that we're working with. Okay, and that schedule is starting right next week. January 10th is our first webinar. It'll go on till April, May, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to conclude by something from your own university. Okay, C.V. Raman Global University. This is the presentation that Dr. Satyanarayana sent me and said, we are excited that in our college, this is our strategy, okay, for the next 10 years, okay? Make it a near sustainable campus, okay? Remember, if some of you are from the C.V. Raman Global University, remember, this is the promise that your leadership has made. So help them keep the promise, okay? A near sustainable campus in the next 10 years. All technologies developed and researched to have a correlation to sustainability and circular economy, okay? Linking knowledge and skills with experiential learning, leading to understanding, competence, and then through project-based activities to research, innovation, entrepreneurship. Exactly the types of things that I've been talking about what IUCEE is trying to do, okay? Make learning holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging, okay? Again, the things that I covered, ensure research and innovation, entrepreneurship is linked to sustainable, inclusive development. So this is what C.V. Raman Global University wants to do in the next 10 years. Outstanding. That's what every institution will be doing. And I'm sure each of your institutions that you come from also has written down somewhere this fantastic vision. The problem is, are we able to implement it? Are we able to get there? What is the pathway? Do we have the leadership skills, not just from the top management, but from every level of the institution to make this happen in the next 10 years? Okay, that's the key. It can be done, but it requires a lot of stamina, a lot of vision, a lot of leadership. It can be done. And if those, when you're trying it, at least we have, IUCEE has a little bit of experience in doing some of these things. If you want to work with us to make it happen, let us help you with that. Some of our successful institutions that have been working with us over the years, we have Keli Tech University in Karnataka. Dr. Ashok Shettar has been with us for right from the beginning, 12 years, and they've really built up a great organization. Chitkara University, Chandigarh, Dr. Achana Mantri, we worked together with her, and great job they're doing. Marwadi University, Sandeep Sancheti. Again, I'm not saying that they have accomplished all these things. It's just that we started the process with them, and we are like the catalyst. They are the ones making it happen. IUCEE is like a catalyst in the chemical reaction. Then we have another college in Gujarat. Then we have Tamil Nadu, Tyagaraja College of Engineering. Then Kalasalingam University in Tamil Nadu. RB College of Engineering in Karnataka. Rajana Bapu Institute of Technology in Maharashtra. St. Joseph Engineering College in Karnataka. And Vasi Reddy Venkatadri Institute of Technology, Andhra Pradesh. Nallamala Reddy College in Telangana, and so on, many, many more. So they're all on the pathway, but start with baby steps. It's a long way to go, okay? So with that, I'm going to end and see if you have any comments or anything. Just for the 10 minutes, just have a little, to give you time to, to ask questions if you ask, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop sharing, and I hope that this has been useful. It has not been as interactive as I would like it to be, but yeah, that's the limitation.
Naik sir, please come in, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, come in. Yeah.
That presentation we have nicely shown regarding the student development or faculty development. See, sir, nowadays we have very good student, excellent student in. Moreover, I am not coming in academic, but giving an example, sir. We have very good faculty, IIT and IIM. Okay, but you should have some infrastructure to capture to latest technology and to upcoming challenging, which is example nowadays there is everywhere you can see IIT, IIM, there is courses coming, big data analysis, artificial intelligence. Such regular courses, except even regular courses is our for the student oriented or academic oriented. but what the social is required, that courses need to be more concentration.
Sure. So yeah, again, let us continue to focus on the circular economy. What do we need for the circular economy? Okay, let's have comments and discussion based for the circular economy. Otherwise, we can be talking about so many different things, right? So let's focus our comments in the next few minutes on sustainability, circular economy, and leadership. Okay, other comments.
Yeah, please come forward. You can unmute yourself anytime and come in.
Sure. Yeah, just talk, text.
Or yeah, you can come to
whatever
chat.
you want to do. Or eat your lunch, because you're maybe in a place where eating. Yeah, go ahead.
So after going through your session for last almost 2 hours, I could see there is a need. We need not to wait for a formal course to be introduced on circular economy. Find a way, at least whatever course you teach, find a way to bring in that aspect to it. That is the first step in that direction. Yep. Second, whenever you are going for a review of your program course structure for a program, you can go for a program elective type or maybe an open elective course in that direction. But at the same time, have your projects, maybe at the undergraduate to a PhD level, focusing on developing technology for that. This will be done only when leader will appreciate the thing. When leader will appreciate there is a need, then only things will happen. Otherwise, we may try to do it, but ultimately the vice chancellor level or maybe something at the dean's level should appreciate the need, and then others will follow. Because many of us maybe in future may take some kind of offices. So in that way, if we can get a chance to contribute in that direction, we should do that.
Yep. Good. I think people are waiting for the certificates, Manoj.
No, actually, sir, I will tell you, they have a session lined up at 3. They don't have any lunch time. They have
time to go. Yeah, they haven't had much of a break. So let us give the 5 minutes extra time now, so they can relax.
No issue. But I can tell you, sir. Yes, sir, please come in.
Professor, is there any policy for circular economy that has come out by, any of the governments in India or even the federal government? Thank you.
Unfortunately, I have not come across it. Okay, again, I'm limited by whatever research I did, but I have not seen that. Unfortunately, I think that's needed. There needs to be, I think, at a policy level, there should be a see, NEP, the new education policy, addresses some pieces of it. If you look carefully in the NEP, there's sentences and all that in there are sustainability. Because sustainability, again, a slightly different word for circular economy. And so there are pieces there, but yeah, you're right. Shahid, you need a very crisp document that people can use as a guide to do things. And I think the most important thing is really that every one of you, as the speaker said earlier, must find ways to introduce these concepts in a small way, somewhere in your curriculum, somewhere in your courses you're teaching. Don't just wait for some expert outside to come to your institution and teach circular economy to your students. That's not you. You are the people. You are the people who are looking around you and saying, hey, there's issues which have to be modified. So if I have to design a car or manufacture a car, teach automobile engineering, I need to include this concept. If I want to do something else, then energy, electronics, I need to include some concepts in this. Each one of you. So don't wait for somebody magician to come and wave with a magic wand. You are the leaders. Okay, you are the leaders, and you can make it happen.
I think one of our participants has wrote something. Yeah, Mohit sir, in the meantime, you please come in. Mohit sir.
Yeah, yes, come in, Mohit.
Thank you so much, sir, for this session, sir. Actually, my question is about, because I also feel that there is always an opportunity. Lots of opportunities are there of this transition from the current structure to the circular economy structure. But how this idea actually addresses the environment agenda, sir?
Yeah, okay. See, the environment is being changed because we do not have a circular economy. Okay, because we are not thinking about where the materials are going to go after they're used. Okay, we're not thinking about what happens to carbon dioxide after we emit it from the vehicles. What happens to carbon dioxide after it comes out of a power plant? We're not thinking about what happens to the different parts of the car after we get rid of it? What happens to different parts of the computer once we stop using it? And so all of these things get dumped into some waste. And then at the same time, all the carbon dioxide is being created and the climate change is happening. And so that means that you need a circular economy to deal with all of these things.
So if you allow me, I just want to share my perspective also.
Sure.
In India, we are appreciating this. Even our, if you say the way we used to live 100 years ago, we in our day-to-day, maybe we can say religious activity, we can say like that social activity, used to that kind of circular economy. We have lost because of being modern in terms of Western world. We lost many of the good practices.
Right.
At present, many of the Indian, maybe a majority of the population has survived. They are struggling for survival.
Right.
For them, getting a better option, they first want an option. That is what they are looking for. But it is expected from the developed country not to take it as a choice. You say it is mandatory to find a circular economy concept, anything which will be approved for production from now onwards. If it will not satisfy the concept of circular economy,
right. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't
exactly.
do it. So that concept can come only when you don't have a survival issue. But the third world country like ours, then it will be always a challenge. People will say, "Pehle jinda reh le." First, we should get then only we think of.
No. I think you have to look back and say, take the simple example. In the old days, right? There was circular economy in the villages.
Yes.
Okay, you had a cow, right? The cow ate some of the hay and something, and the cow dung came, and they're using that for various things, right?
Exactly.
And so even water, wells and everything. In the old days, they had the stairwells. Women used to go down the stairwells, bring the water up from the stairwells. So if you look at history, which has not been corrupted by the Industrial Revolution, you will find many examples that our ancestors also understood this concept of circular economy. We just have to think in that manner. And so let us not get fooled by everybody in different parts of the world that artificial intelligence is the most important thing going to solve our problems. Machine learning is going to solve our problems. And data science is going to solve our problems. That is all humbug. Those are important areas. But that is not going to get us towards circular economy. You have to focus our minds in different ways, think holistically about circular economy and how do we deal with this crisis that is going to come. Otherwise, the next generation, so wow, look, everything has changed. Now the world is in a big problem because it's like the boiled frog, as I said, right?
Exactly.
They'll be getting warmer, getting worse and worse and worse, and people don't realize what happened, and boom, it's all gone, right? And then we go back to the ice age.
I can't agree more, sir. I think Mohit sir was one who said that we may go back to horses. It may happen. It may happen.
Maybe we can. We should. Maybe, who knows?
I don't remember that term. I don't remember that term that usually people, I mean, scientists, and they are also promoting in Western world, like they inject something in the rocks so that they can get the material extracted from there before it gets mature to be extracted. It is process in mining that is very popular these days.
Who knows? So, who knows? Yeah, who knows? That the research has to be done in various ways. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Fantastic, sir. It's a pleasure.
Take care.
Yeah, actually, I got an opportunity to hear you again. I heard you in.
Say hello to your Vice Chancellor. I hope he is happy with some of
it. And see, I will tell you, sir, I was a big fan of yours, but I have become even bigger after this session.
Talk to your Vice Chancellor. Talk to your Vice Chancellor and ask him to become a member of IUCEE.
Yeah,
we can benefit from that, and you can benefit from that also. Okay.
I'm surely
all the colleges, even really good colleges, are members, and they benefit from each other by discussion with each other. Okay. So
for sure, I'm going to do that, sir. Yeah, but I can tell you the one thing: it was one of the best sessions we had till last 3-4 days.
Okay,
you might be expecting more interaction, but I could see it is even better than many of the other sessions.
It's very difficult. 5 days in a row, so many sessions every day. Exactly. I can see the people exhausted. So don't.
And even said they have not given an off for this. They are doing parallel activities
I know.
also.
They're still doing their classes and all. Yeah, I know. So Jai ho to you. All the best to you.
Yes, exactly. But thank you so much for sir accepting our request and sparing your valuable time. It's an honor to have you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you so much, and have a great day, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
And for the participant, we'll meet again at 3 for our next session. Thank you so much, and have a great lunch. Bye-bye.